Westbrook, and we're going viral. The NFC West got a big jolt with the Seahawks acquisition of Jadeveon Clowney. Russell Wilson took to Instagram to welcome Clowney, saying, "So you telling me you're not chasing quarterbacks anymore?" Jadeveon says, "Nah, bro, all other quarterbacks." Russ, okay, we're cool.
Wait.
I'm sure Nick could do that better than I could.
So I didn't see this. Russ created this little fan fiction and posted this exchange to his Instagram.
That's how I read it.
That's Russell Wilson 1.0.
And he did it in the voice.
That's corny Russell Wilson.
In the suave.
No.
It wasn't the suave voice.
That wasn't suave voice. That wasn't, no. Sierra didn't double check that for him. That's the old Russ. The new and improved Russ would have had a much cooler Instagram caption to go along with
it would have been pretty easy. Welcome to our team. Let's get after it.
Yeah,
let's go win.
Let's go get it,
but
man.
Then it wouldn't be Russ, and it wouldn't make our viral.
Well, it could have. Cool can make our viral too, not just corny.
Listen,
we got the corny
on behalf
covered.
of corny,
I
will say we welcome you wholeheartedly. Big arms, thank you.
Just sit in that chair and start telling lies. In this seat, you're always telling the truth.
Let's talk Chargers now. They'll likely be without their Pro Bowl running back, Melvin Gordon, week 1, perhaps longer, as Gordon continues his holdout. Chargers GM Tom Telesco said they're halting extension talks until after the season, granting Gordon permission to seek a trade. So, Brian, how much does Melvin Gordon's holdout impact the Chargers' Super Bowl chances?
I don't think it affects it that much. Listen, I think Melvin Gordon is a very good running back. I think that he can run the ball inside, outside, big, physical, and fast. He can do all those things and catch out of the backfield. However, I think the Chargers have changed their philosophy just a bit. They want to go to a two-back system, more of a running back by committee. They're going to use Justin Jackson, Austin Eckler to get that done. Both backs that have proven themselves already in the NFL. He's a big difference between the situation that Melvin Gordon is in, the leverage-wise, and Zeke. Zeke is the man on that football team. The Chargers are a passing team. They only really run the ball 25 times per game. They're built on throwing the ball down the field to their tall wide receivers using Phillip Rivers' arm. So this team isn't built around Melvin Gordon. To me, him not being there certainly does not hurt their chances to win.
To me, listen, I don't think he's one of the 8 best running backs in football. I think he's fringe top 10, which is why the moment we found out he was going to hold out on the show, we said, man, I think he is getting bad advice and going to overplay his hand. When you heard about the type of dollars he was expecting, the Melvin Gordons of the world are the guys who are really killed by the new NFL marketplace on running backs. Guys that are good but not great, who you think, okay, first-round pick.
Or they can be replaced by running back by committee.
It was so much more fungible. You look at, could Austin Eckler, Justin Jackson give us 80% of the production at 20% of the cost that he's asking for? But I do think they're better with him than without him. I think he's not Keenan Allen, and he's obviously not Phillip Rivers, but you could make an argument he's the 3rd most important player on their offense, or 3rd best player on their offense. But this is one of the many reasons I'm down on the Chargers this year, Brian. Now, I get it. Last year, they were 12-4. They were a tiebreaker away from being the #1 overall seed. To me, it's really unfair that they at 12-4 got the 5 seed. The Patriots 11-5 got the 2 seed, but that was last year. This year now, we don't know if they're going to have Melvin Gordon. We know for at least a couple months they're not going to have the most talented player on their whole team in Derwin James. They also last year were 7-1 in one-score games. That usually bounces back a little bit, usually around 500 in that. And I think people should remember that ever since the Chargers moved from San Diego to L.A., they don't play no home games.
Nope.
They play 8 road games and a bunch of neutral site games. And when you have Denver and Pittsburgh and Green Bay and Oakland coming to your building, man, those are traveling fan bases that are going to take over that stadium where they play. And one other point, if you dig into it, bless you, they're competing with the Chiefs, right? Bless you again. No problem. They're competing with the Chiefs, who I think is the best team in football. Certainly, I think everyone agrees one of the best teams. Their home game against Kansas City is in Mexico. So, like, that's a killer, man. When you've got, you know you've got to go to Arrowhead. That's hard enough, but you don't even get them coming back to your place. That's going to be a neutral site game. So they play 8 road games, 1 game in Mexico, 7 games at home, where the other opposing team's fan base might be more than theirs for 5 of those 7. I just think all of those things stack the deck against the Chargers competing for the division or even a playoff spot this year.
You know what's weird, and this is one thing that I hate as a former running back is, you know, Melvin Gordon just got all of his leverage taken away from him. Basically, they said, listen, come play for this $5 million or just don't play at all, because we think these two guys, contrary to what Jerry Jones has been saying about Tony Pollard, and is he cool, those types of things, they're saying we think these two guys are good enough to replace your production. All of his leverage is gone.
But let me ask you a question. Take us into Melvin Gordon's head for a second. You're getting this advice, hey, you're better than what they're going to pay you. You can hold out. You can afford to hold out. I guess that's the only real advice you're getting. I mean, whether you disagree with that or not, is that kind of the path you take?
Well, I think you also have to assess the situation. You had two running backs that last year played well when Melvin Gordon was hurt. He's only had 1 year with over 1,000 yards. He was close another year, but, you know, Melvin Gordon, again, is a very good running back. He's getting bad advice from his financial people or his agent. $10 million is a lot of money for a running back. He's not Gurley. He's not Zeke. He's not Saquon, but he's probably bottom part of that top 10. He's a very good running back. $10 million would have been a good contract for him if that's what they are.
And I think he looked at it, and his people looked at it as, hey, when you're a first-round pick, if you're good enough to where your team wants to keep you, usually they try to work out an extension before that fifth-year option. Like Zeke's trying to get it 2 years early. This would just be 1 year early. And if Melvin Gordon was this level of player at any other position as a first-round pick, he would have been paid. But this is the spot where running backs get killed. We can talk about Zeke. Zeke's going to get paid. Gurley got paid. Le'Veon got paid. Barring injury, Christian McCaffrey and Saquon, when they come up, they'll get paid. First-round picks who are really outstanding. But when you are, the problem for Melvin Gordon is that Kareem Hunt exists. Third-round pick, lead the league in rushing. The problem for Melvin Gordon is that the kid in Denver last year, Phillip Lindsay, exists. That there are, if you are, he might be top 10. A lot of teams feel like, man, we have one of those guys that might be top 10 on the practice squad. Right. Because so many great young athletes play this position. They come into high school football, they play running back. College football, they play running back, and there's a surplus of them. You can be a mediocre corner in this league and get $11 million a year. You've got to be a spectacular running back. Melvin Gordon, he didn't get that, or his people didn't get that. I don't begrudge him. I wish he got paid. I wish all these guys got paid. Chargers are a tough organization to do business with from a player's perspective. He plays the worst position possible for it, and the Chargers clearly feel like, man, we're not relying on you. No. You missed 4 games last year. They like Eckler. It just, and by the way, he owes over $1 million in fines. Like, if he comes back, unless they forgive those fines, this whole thing is going to end up having cost him over $250 of the dollars he was supposed to make this season.
Well, if he made $10 million this year and he's only coming back for 5, he's going to lose a whole bunch of money, and they're going to still run him into the dirt and still play a lot of plays there.
He should have been a cornerback. Yeah. He should have been a cornerback.
Young 5-stars. Change positions. Yeah. Running backs, go to anything, man.
Brian, can your old head coach rejuvenate LaShawn McCoy's career? That's next on First Things First.